and I have no idea how I'm gonna get home.
Do you need a ride, young man?
Are you who I think you are?
I'm the voice of the Knight Industry 2000's microprocessor, KITT, or KITT if you prefer.
I must be dreaming.
This is not a dream, Dr. Scott.
These are for me?
Yes, they are. We have a lot of work to do.
Okay then. Let's go home.
Devin is calling.
Devin Miles? Now I know I'm dreaming.
Hello, Michael.
Just a moment, Mr. Miles. I am experiencing a disruption. Dr. Scott, do you see the bag on the floor?
Yeah.
Michael Knight is on extended holiday. Actually, he retired 14 years ago.
Michael Knight retired? Who has been helping you solve crimes all of this time?
Runaway teenagers, the occasional bored prostitute, and one time there was this loser named Bonnie Ross that claimed she used to work for 343 Studios. That's where the bag comes in. Devin's eyesight isn't so sharp anymore. After all, he's 101 years old. Put on the contents in the bag, quickly.
Oh, all right. I feel ridiculous.
It will work. It always does. Mr. Miles, the interference has cleared. Here's Michael.
Thank you, KITT. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Devin! How's it going over there at the Foundation?
That's why I called. What do you know about video games?
Well, enough to be dangerous. What do you have in mind?
There has been an increased influx of bootleg video games being traded in at video game stores across the country.
Well, it sounds dicey at best.
Gather as much information as you can so we can see who's behind this scheme, Michael. Good luck.
Thanks, Devin.
Oh, and Michael, I like the new haircut. It makes you look younger.
What the hell is this all about, KITT? I'm not a detective. I host a cheesy video game show on frickin' YouTube, for God's sakes. You pick me up at the nerd's house. You give me these video games to play. Now I'm looking for counterfeit games for the Foundation for Law and Government? It's a real thing? What?
Trust me, Dr. Scott. It will all work out in the end. Besides, I usually do all of the work. Michael usually just punched bad guys in the face and banged hot 80s chicks.
Well, all right. Let's play the first game as we drive. Where are we headed?
Detroit.
I am the voice of Knight Industry 2000's microprocessor.
Dr. Scott, a young YouTuber on a campaign to champion the cause of the viewers, the gamers, the live streamers, in a world where corrupt game companies release games on digital only.
Knight Rider the game was released in Europe in 2002 for the PlayStation 2 and on PC worldwide in 2003. KITT, do you have any information why this game wasn't released for PS2 in North America?
The only information I have is that the publishers were being cheap bastards, Dr. Scott.
And I thought you didn't have a sense of humor.
I was being serious.
So Davalix Games was the developer and publisher, and apparently they released the game in Europe to mixed reviews. More users on Metacritic liked the game, but I'd prefer to make my own assessment. Now, KITT, did you voice the car in the game?
Yes, Bonnie. That shouldn't be a problem.
No, they got some cheesy European actor that had a convincing accent but barely sounded like me at all.
Why didn't they just ask you to do the voice acting?
I referred to my previous statement about the developers being stupid bastards. Michael refused because they were only offering a $14 Subway gift card as compensation. Now you know why Davalix is now defunct.
Yeah, they sure sound like stupid bastards to me, too. Knight Rider the video game for PlayStation 2 is a title that largely lives up to the iconic TV series it's based on. While it may not be a groundbreaking masterpiece, it effectively captures the spirit of the show and offers a fun, albeit short-lived, driving experience. The game combines elements of racing and action with players taking control of KITT, the iconic talking car, and as Michael Knight. Missions involve a mix of high-speed chases, puzzle solving, and combat. The driving mechanics are simple and mostly enjoyable. Plus, there's the ability to transform KITT into various modes that add variety to the gameplay. Like most games, you need to go through a tutorial in order to master the mechanics of the game. With Knight Rider, the training can be a little heavy-handed and unforgiving because maneuvering KITT can be both easy and frustrating by design. The developers have you learn how to 1. Drive KITT and move around, 2. Ski mode, which becomes a useful tool, 3. Turbo boost in order to ascend vertical hurdles. Yes, you heard me correctly. I said vertical hurdles, and I'll show you more of that later. 4. Scanning buildings plus using some of KITT's more specialized electronic devices. And lastly, an obstacle course where you are given a nearly impossible amount of time to get to the finish line. As I mentioned before, sometimes it's a breeze to control KITT, and other times it's so frustrating that you might want to shove an ice pick into your eye instead of driving KITT. While you can set the game to an easy, normal, or hard difficulty, I can't imagine the game being more difficult than the normal mode I set it on. I just think it would become more infuriatingly frustrating. I know that sounds like I'm offering semantics, but there is a difference in making a capable game more difficult and a sloppy or impossible experience more frustrating rather than just difficult. Think playing soccer in stilettos on a soggy field after a torrential downpour versus playing in your favorite cleats. Well, playing soccer may be frustrating enough if you're slightly overweight like me. Once you pass all of the training, it's time to get started with your real missions. More on that later. Even though some of the decisions Davilex Games made regarding KITT's mechanics were questionable, the game wasn't broken, just quirky. Are the quirks enough to turn away from the game? Not really, because I'm a Knight Rider fan after all, and I'm here for the long haul.
I don't think I completely understand. Isn't Knight Rider just a video game?
Never mind, kid, it's just too difficult to explain.
We've arrived at our first destination, Retro Taku Video Games in Walled Lake, Michigan, Dr. Scott. I'll park myself while you are inside.
All right, KITT. Thanks. I'll be back in a second. Hey, how's it going?
What can I help you with?
I'm Dr. Scott. I'm with, of all places, I'm with FLAG, the Foundation for Law and Government. We're looking for counterfeit games that are being traded in the local area, and I was told that you guys called about something like that. Do you have any counterfeit games that were traded in?
Oh yeah, we get some fake games that come in from time to time, but these were really weird.
Yeah, do you have them here? Can I see them?
Yeah, let me get them.
Yeah, these labels are absolute crap. Wow, these are terrible. Do you have a description of the guy who traded these in?
Yeah, tall guy like you, wore a hat and sunglasses, just like that.
Like these?
Yeah, but he had a goatee.
He had a goatee.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I really appreciate it. I'm gonna get these off the street. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you soon.
No problem. You have a good day.
You too. Oh, okay. KITT, let's get to the next stop.
That's in Fremont, Ohio, Dr. Scott.
Well, let's get going then, KITT. Now, can you do fingerprint analysis of these counterfeit games?
Absolutely. I will cross-check the FBI, CIA, and Homeland Security databases as well as the Foundation's.
The CIA? Really?
Yes, it's possible that an international criminal or syndicate could have their hand in this.
Good thinking, KITT. You know, you're more than just a cool-looking car with a supercomputer built in.
You bet your sweet ass.
Well, back to the game for me. The game's graphics are a mixed bag. While KITT's model looks decent, the environments are rather bland, lacking detail and atmosphere. The textures are very flat and the backgrounds are foggy. During this era of gaming, most times cutscenes looked much better than the gameplay, and Knight Rider does hit the nail on the head in this aspect. Other PlayStation 2 games released in 2002, like Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Ratchet & Clank, Burnout 2 Point of Impact, and Spider-Man looked far superior graphics-wise. Honestly, you'd think that Davilex should have been able to make the game look much better. Now the audio, that is where Knight Rider shines like a knight in shining armor. The familiar Knight Rider theme song is a great cover. The incidental and ambient music is quite reminiscent of the 80s sound, and the sound effects are all top-notch. Hearing the familiar sounds of KITT's scanner whoosh and turbo boost took me back to the days when I watched the show as a kid, and I really felt like I was in control of the real KITT. The music and effects combo creates a strong sense of nostalgia, and that's why most people are going to play Knight Rider in the first place. The voice acting is done fairly well, even though the guy playing Michael is a little over the top. Both he and the voice of KITT aren't really that bad, except as we mentioned earlier, they mispronounce some American English words like semi being called semi and a few other words.
Bonnie wants to run a full systems check before we go out on the next assignment. Come to the semi, come to the semi, come to the semi, semi.
Sometimes it took me out of the game because the director didn't care enough to get native English speakers to play the parts, and other times I chuckled at the cheesiness of their bad English. If anything, the camp added to the game, kind of like it did in the show. But occasionally the camp could sour into cringe. But what can I say, I'm still a fan.
We are approaching the second stop, Dr. Scott, and I finished the analysis of the fingerprints found on the video game cases.
Give me some good news, buddy.
I'm afraid that I can't. The prints are inconclusive due to the poor samples left on the cases.
Well, that's pretty discouraging.
I concur. We've arrived at CNC Games in Fremont, Ohio.
All right, let's see if we can get anything new here. Hey, how's it going?
Good, can I help you?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Scott with... I can't believe I'm saying this. I feel so silly. The Foundation for Law and Government.
Law and Government, like Knight Rider?
Yeah, don't get me started. We were recently informed that you guys got some really odd counterfeit games traded in recently.
Got them right here.
Oh yeah, those are those are really odd. I was just at Retro Taku video game store in Detroit, and the manager there said that the guy who traded them in there, he was tall, wore a hat, had sunglasses, and a goatee. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Would you have any video footage of him?
Yeah, do you got an email?
Here you go, there's my card. Hey, thanks a lot for the games. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you.
See you soon.
See ya.
What did you find out?
Well, there may be security footage of the guy, and the manager will be sending it to you directly, so we may get a positive ID, and here are the games that he gave me.
Good work, Dr. Scott. Would you like to continue the game while we travel to our next location?
Sure, KITT, let's do it. Why not? So if you are a fan of the Knight Rider television show, you'll definitely feel nostalgic while playing the game. We have different actors playing the parts, as I mentioned earlier, and they do a fairly decent job playing the characters we all know.
KITT, old buddy, you reading me?
Loud and clear, Michael. Powered up and ready.
Michael, I've just heard there's been a bank robbery in a town quite nearby.
Good morning, KITT. We'll run a few field tests to see if the new system's upgrades work properly.
Now, the story isn't great, but it's not too terrible. Sure, it's not going to win any Pulitzers for fiction, but it was crafted with the fans in mind as they used familiar concepts and a couple of familiar villains from the show like Garth Knight with his semi-truck Goliath, and the Knight automated roving robot, aka Car, KITT's evil and self-serving prototype. While you do get to challenge Garth and Car on a couple of different occasions in the game, there are more tedious timed driving sequences where you must get to a bomb before it explodes, or chase down an escaping helicopter while attempting to stay on course on the roadway, and it's littered with mines, falling boulders, and other various types of bullcrap. It would seem that the people at Davlix Games lack the creativity or the in-depth knowledge of the Knight Rider show to make a more captivating story with less mundane tasks to do in-game. This is why, unfortunately, Knight Rider the game suffers from a lack of longevity. The game can be completed relatively quickly, and there's little incentive to replay it once the story is finished. The repetitive and tedious mission structure also contributes to its short lifespan. You know, this is perplexing. Who would be trading in counterfeit games at local video game stores when they know that the stores are aware that they're fake?
It's mysterious indeed. But wouldn't these particular games be considered homebrew games rather than counterfeits? In actuality, the games in question don't really exist, and these are knockoffs.
Well, these games are really shitty looking.
Potato. Never mind that now. You have your Knight Rider game to play. I wonder why they'd make a video game with me on the cover and call it Knight Rider.
KITT, you were in Knight Rider. You and Michael, you were the stars of a television show.
It's flattering that there was a video game made about me and Michael and our crime-solving adventures, but we were never in a television show.
You know, how can a machine so intelligent be so clueless?
How rude.
Well, since we have picked apart the finer points of Knight Rider the video game and showed the pros and cons, after everything is weighed on the good versus sucks scale, how does the game weigh up? Let's break it down. The developers had a hard time giving you captivating things to do without those things getting repetitive. Too many fetch quests that had you drive way too far for little reward. Straight-on battles were a little more balanced, but turbo boost stair hopping was just plain stupid. I give the gameplay 5.5 out of 10. Driving KITT and controlling him on the whole was pretty straightforward. The mindless hoops the Davlix games had me jumping through, or should I say vertical building hopping, made me want to frickin' scream. But I pushed on because I love Knight Rider. Controlling KITT also includes the car's real-time ability to do operations and tasks the game was designed for. Some of the time fetch tasks or races were so difficult that you had to perform at a 99% rate of perfection just to pass on normal difficulty. I give Control 6.5 out of 10. Muddy environments and bland colors make for a blasé palette. If Spec Ops The Line and Sniper Elite can make a desert look good, then Davlix could too. KITT, Car, and Goliath all looked great though, and the human character models weren't too bad. I give graphics a 6.5 out of 10. The great cover of the Knight Rider theme, ambient music, and KITT's sound effects are the stars of this game. Having an American that spoke English natively would have helped the actors deliver their dialogue with more believability. But overall, I can't say the voice acting was that bad in any way. I'm giving the sound an 8.5 out of 10. Well, it's clear that Davlix Games probably wrote the story in-house without someone who was extremely and intimately familiar with the source material. They knew enough to write a familiar-ish story, but part of the problem story-wise is related to the language barrier and not having proper tasks for the player to do based on the Knight Rider universe. I'm giving the story a 5.5 out of 10. If you played through it once, you probably won't play through it again. It was fun, although frustrating in points. It's not like I can just turn the game on a la GTA Vice City style and go mow down pedestrians with KITT, find Easter eggs like hidden packages, or play side missions, because there aren't any. Plus, if you don't have a PAL PS2 or an NTSC one that's modified, your best bet may be to buy the PC version if you are dying to give it a whirl on the cheap. That way your nostalgia is satisfied and balanced out by your disappointment. I'm giving replayability a 3.5 out of 10. But there is a Knight Rider the Game Part 2, and oftentimes developers will learn from their mistakes with the first game and make improvements. So I'm looking forward to playing that game and bringing it to you very, very soon. Isn't that right, KITT?
Oh, I can hardly wait, Dr. Scott.
That's a total score of 36 out of 60.
I've received and reviewed the surveillance footage from C&C Games. The suspect wasn't facing the camera. It appears he is trying to avoid the camera.
This guy is more clever than we thought.
After driving from New Jersey to Detroit, then 2 cities in Ohio, I feel disgusting. And we have arrived at the last place the Foundation was notified about the counterfeit games.
Yeah, KITT, you are filthy. Why don't I go inside, check on the games, and you go grab a quick car wash?
That sounds like a wonderful idea, Dr. Scott. Be careful.
Hey, it's all good, KITT. I know this place. The owner of Rock'em Sock'em Retro is a friend of mine. But you'll have to wait outside because, well, they don't serve robots in there.
Very funny, Luke Skywalker.
I'll be back in a minute. Hey, John. Devin Miles from Flag sent me in about the investigation of the fake games that you guys got. Did you get you have the games here?
You're working for Flag?
Yeah.
I mean, I got a few, but that's the most recent ones.
It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men.
Yeah, these are very bizarre, especially this one.
You would know. I mean, you're the one that brought them in here.
Me? I didn't trade these into you.
You're right, I'd make that up because it's funny.
Dr. Scott, I finished at the car wash and I'm driving back to Rock'em Sock'em Retro now.
Wait a second. You have surveillance cameras, right? You have surveillance footage, right?
Yeah, come on, let's go look at it.
All right.
All right, this should be... Is this it? Nope, that's not it. Next.
That isn't the footage.
No. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Stuff you do while you're here all alone?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Here we go. There it is.
Hey man, you take these games off me? What the heck? That's not me. I haven't grown a goatee in years.
It looks just like you. Plus, the guy was a real prick.
Well, thanks a lot. Okay, I got the games, and we know that the guy, he looks just like me, and he looks like evil Spock from Star Trek.
This really seems like a you problem. I got stuff to do, man.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks, John. I gotta go, and if he shows back up, give me a call.
Oh, yeah, let me just work for you.
Okay, Kit, the pieces are coming together. There's a guy that looks just like me, he's got a goatee, and he's trading in all the fakes. It seems that maybe he's trying to frame me for this? Kit? Did you hear me?
KITT didn't hear you, Dr. Scott.
Oh my gosh. You're not Kit.
Give the man a cigar. I am the Knight Automated Roving Robot. You may call me Car, and you are my prisoner.
I am the voice of Knight Industry 2000's microprocessor.
Rock'em sock'em.
Hello, I was wondering if Dr. Scott was still there.
No, the Don Johnson wannabe left in a black Trans Am a couple hours ago.
Oh no.
Thanks for watching the Game Closet Season 3 finale. Will KITT find Dr. Scott? Who was the mysterious man with the goatee that's responsible for dropping all the counterfeit games? Subscribe to find out in Season 4, and in the meantime, there are several videos and playlists on screen for you to watch. We'll see you very, very soon.